All right, let's get to the 7K range here. Talking 3M Open. Talking TPC Twin Cities and DraftKings. The 7K range. It's ugly, y'all. It is ugly. It starts with Ryan Palmer and everyone's the hot new commodity. He's the new, you're in the middle of the school year, right? You're in the middle of the school year. You're cruising. Maybe you're like, man, there ain't a hot chick in my class. Not one. All the hot girls are over in Pat's class over here. He got all the hot girls in his class.
That's right.
And I'm staring at these homely looking girls over here. And then all of a sudden, one day you're just sitting in class. Remember this in elementary school when you get a knock on the door and the principal would open the door and there'd be a little shawty. There'd be a little shawty right by her that you'd never seen before. And she got a little Liza Frank book bag on or something. And she's like, "Oh, hey, Miss Kotler, I got a new student for you. She's all the way from, wherever, probably the South." And you're like, oh. And you're sitting there at your desk and you're scared the bell's going to ring because you're going to have to walk with your book bag in front of your shorts because you got a new piece of meat that you're looking at. You may be happy about it. Well, that's Chris Goddard at 7,900.
Chris Goddard.
The college boy, he's the young buck coming up in the PGA Tour, hitting it a freaking mile, going to give Cam Young a run for his money off the tee. Everybody loves Chris Goddard. He's no longer the hidden gem. Don't mind that I faded him when he trunk slammed just a couple weeks ago, but yeah. And
I gave Chris Goddard a nickname in the Nut Hut, but I'm not going to talk about it. Maybe if you get in the Nut Hut, you can see.
Okay, there you go. You got the defending champ, Cam Champ. Oh man, poor Fowler. Fowler's in here. Matt Naismith's in here. Amish Troy, Eric Van Rooyen, the Minnesota Gopher.
I think he withdrew.
Oh, he withdrew, did he?
Yeah.
Smoth Daddy's in here. Another defending champ or another past champ, Michael Thompson. Ju Young Kim, who just accepted temporary PGA Tour membership today, Pat. Ju Young had him a good Open championship. Made the cut, did all right. Bo Hostler's in here. Danny Willett, Patton Kazire, James Hahn, Callum Tarrant. Anyway, those are your 7K picks, 7K range. Pat, I'm going to let you start this one. Who do you like? Where do you think it's going to go down in the 7K spot? Are you going to play Goddard up? That's the first question.
I'm not playing Goddard up. I'm just not ready to get in there with a new kid in the class. I gotta see what's going on with this new kid. Like something's wrong. They're not from the South, like you said. I think they're from California.
She's got a great body, man.
I think they're from California, and they're gonna do. They play mental games with you.
No offense to the Californians.
No offense to California people, but like it's like she's coming from Bayside or something, and we're over here, and we just don't know what's going on. So I'm a little worried about Goddard. So I'm going to wait and see with him. I do like Adam Svensson there at 7,600. You look at the stats across the board. He's fantastic when it comes to ball striking, approach, all those kind of things. I think Svensson is really my favorite play here in the 7,600 range. Has played here before, had a top 15 finish a couple years ago. So I like that. You look at his finish at the Barbasol, he was sixth. And then 2 straight top 25 finishes before that at the John Deere Classic and the Travelers. So the guy's kind of hot right now. I like Wyndham Clark. I'm going to like some Wyndham. He's at 7,500.
Okay.
T16 at the Scottish Open, then came back or played in the Open Championship, did make the cut. Didn't do too well, but before that had a T35 at the Travelers. He also has a mixed course history here, 2 missed cuts in a row, but a T5 in 2019.
I mean, that's a Wyndham Clark. If that's not a Wyndham Clark course history, I don't know what it is. 2 missed cuts and a T5. I mean, the guy hits it a mile and he putts.
He's kind of like Cam Champ, who won last year.
It's very much, yeah.
So I think he fits the profile of a guy that could win here. So I do like him. So just leading to 7,500. That's where I'll stop. I'll let you go a little bit, and then I'll go give you some cheaper guys here.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know. Okay, I'm
just separating it up. There's so many guys here.
I may play Goddard up depending on the chalk. I mean, he's going to be chalky, so I probably won't end up playing him. I mean, I think Emiliano Grillo at 7,600
Yes,
is
yes.
enticing. The guy, he missed the cut at the Open Championship. So got to come home early. Whatever, no big deal. But I mean, the ball striking's been really solid with him. T3 here in 2020, missed the cut last year. For a minute there, his ball striking wasn't quite right. I mean, the putter's never been great, but the ball striking was kind of a miss. And now it seems that he's found a little something, and he's been gaining strokes with the putter. I mean, gained 4 strokes at the John Deere and almost ran down JT Poston. That's the danger with Emiliano Grillo. So, it's, to me that one's interesting. I like Grillo. Working down the board a little bit. Austin Smotherman for me. I know we talk about Austin a good bit. He just played pretty good. I think he finished. What did he finish? Eighth or no? What did he finish at the? Yeah, he finished eighth at the Barracuda scoring event. I mean, you talk about a guy that makes a ton of birdies. Like Austin Smotherman, if you look at his finishes, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, like it's a benign, 54th at the Barbasol, 44th at the Canadian. He makes a ton of birdies. He just makes a lot of mistakes. But on DraftKings, we'll take the birdies and the mistakes as long as he's playing the weekend and he continues making the birdies on the weekend. So I like Smotherman. He's sitting on the 134 spot in the FedEx Cup. I know he's motivated. I know his caddy's motivated to get this train on the tracks and get up inside that 125 because you're going to need it. So I definitely like Smotherman. Matt Naismith at 7,500 is another one. Disregard the 2 missed cuts that he's had here at this event because I think Naismith's playing. He's a much better player now than he has been over the last couple of years, and the form has been pretty tremendous. He went over to the Scottish and missed the cut, but again, links golf is just different. Like, but look at the track record leading up to the Scottish. He's had a really sneaky good season for Naismith. So I think it's a good spot for Matt Naismith. We can ignore the course history. I mean, those are 3 of my favorite plays. I do like the Svensson play. I think your chalk in this range is going to be Goddard and Svensson. I think if you wanted to play cash and be a little different, I mean, you could definitely go Svensson. I would feel more comfortable with Svensson and cash over Goddard, but I also think Smotherman and cash or Naismith could work. The only other names here at the near the bottom, Pat, that I just want to throw out there would be at 7,200, Danny Lee, and at 7,100, Hayden Buckley. I'm wondering if either one of those guys were on your radar.
Hayden Buckley was. Danny Lee, not so much. But I never can get him right. I mean, all I see right now, I don't know what he did last week. Did he play last week?
No, no. Well,
Um,
at the Barracuda, I don't think
he
so.
had a withdrawal at the Travelers and a miscut at the U.S. Open. So,
Yeah, he didn't play last week.
but although Danny Lee is a guy that, like in DFS, just out of nowhere can show up. So I don't mind. I could see why you would play him. But Hayden Buckley for sure. The guy's been on a tear. If you just look at his last 4 events, I mean, he's made the cut. Has 2 top 30 finishes, including the T14 at the U.S. Open.
Yep.
So I like that.
Oh,
You mentioned Ju Young Kim is a guy that just had this, just accepted the invite to be on the tour. He's got, he's played some tough events lately with a 23rd at the U.S. Open, 3rd at the Scottish Open, T47 last week at the Open Championship at St. Andrews. So, I mean, this is a guy I think is one of your next studs on tour if he stays on tour. We'll see. Maybe that's one reason they wanted to lock him up. But I do like Ji Young Kim at 7,300. Probably going to have some higher ownership. I don't know. I don't know what his ownership's going to be. I don't know if there's just people that don't even know who he is yet, and they haven't really paid attention to what he's done overseas and whatever else. But I do like Kim a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the contest. If it's the Pat Mayo Experience Open, or the Pat Mayo Experience Listener League, he's going to be higher owned.
Yeah.
If it's a high stakes league, he might be higher owned as well. More people are going to know who he is. If it's a pretty public contest, maybe not. So I definitely think it probably depends on the contest. I think so. So I couldn't sell you on a little Danny Lee. Like if let's look at Danny Lee
I
in
just don't know how to sell me on Danny Lee.
in
I
2
really.
years. In 2 years playing this event, he's gained 8.1 strokes ball striking. Now that's led to a 26th place finish in 2020 and a miscut in 2019, but still 8.1 strokes ball striking. So everything tee to green, like he hits a lot of greens here. Obviously, his short game has always been what's held him back. But I mean, other than the miscut at the U.S. Open, which I don't know what the numbers are, I could pull it up. But at the RBC Canadian, where he finished 10th, and the Memorial, gained a lot of strokes ball striking there. Then he finished 23rd at the Charles Schwab, where he didn't gain any strokes ball striking, but he saved it with a short game. But I mean, look at the genesis back in February, where he was coming off 4 straight miscuts, and then boom, a 21st at one of the toughest fields at Riviera. Like, the upside for Danny Lee has always really been there. So I'm interested just because of the upside and the big potential for D Lee. Still didn't talk.
I mean, he still didn't talk me into it. I mean, I hear you.
That's okay.
I hear you. You probably feel the same way about Danny Lee, that I'm kind of like leaning towards wanting to play Tyler Duncan for some reason. Like,
yeah, Duncan, I can't.
I just look at the ball striking stats. He's top 10 in approach and ball striking. But I never get him right. Anytime I want to play Tyler Duncan, it never works out.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel I can be too confident with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I gotta tell the people too, like, if you're in the Nut Hut and you're not paying attention to the Prize Picks Discord channel that we've got going on, Pat made a killing on
great week last week.
this past week. The Prize Picks thread alone in the Discord server will pay for your Nut Hut membership. And if you've not already signed up for Prize Picks, you got to do it. They're legal now in like 30 states. All new users, if you use promo code TJ, will get a 100% deposit match up to $100. It's the best legal way to play props. It's daily fantasy made easy. You're not playing against a bunch of other people. It's just you versus the props. You're going to pick between 2 and 5 different props and over and under on their projections. You can win up to 10x. Sometimes you get a little bonus in there. You can win up to 11 or 12x on your entry, just you versus those projected numbers. You can even mix sports, like you can throw in, baseball and MMA and golf in there and do a whole card that way. They got a great mobile app. It's the best kind of pick 'em props contest there is available, and they offer safe and fast withdrawals. So use promo code TJ, get yourself a 100% deposit match. Please, you got to sign up. It's a great experience at Prize Picks. They're supporting the podcast, so help us support them right back, because they're just that good.